Hey everyone, this is Rob alongside Martel here for another
So,
episode of Jobbers Uncensored. We're going to talk about AEW Dynamite, NXT, and WWE SmackDown. So we're going to start with AEW. So the match opens with the show opens with Hangman Adam Page versus John Silver. So the big things I've been hearing are John Silver is becoming an amazing breakout star for AEW.
absolutely,
His promos are getting
absolutely.
wackier and wackier.
He's he's definitely like catching the world by storm, like out of nowhere. He's definitely been able to get himself over. He's able to bring more of his personality into it because I watch like, YouTube stuff where they have their vlogs and stuff, like being the elite. He's on Sammy Guevara's vlog sometimes, and he's hilarious behind the scenes, like outside of the Dark Order gimmick. So
Yeah,
I
he
and, and he's really good in the ring.
yeah
Oh,
I have heard a lot made of how funny he is. His promos are just insane. Um, and
he's good.
like I love the little things. Like I love that he tried to fist bump Page at the beginning of the match.
Yeah, yeah, man. Yes, he's hilarious. He he reminds me of me because he just says stuff, and it's just like, what, bro? What did you just say? And he's like, never mind. He has his little quirks and stuff. But not only that, but he's pretty good in the ring too. He's got those quick kicks. He uses his size to
Yeah,
his advantage. He's really fast.
it was a
He's
pretty amazing, fairly athletic match with a lot of great counters and near falls. Uh, in the end, Adam Page wins with the buckshot lariat.
oof.
And then the rest of the dark that mount that every time I see that move just looks so painful.
It's brutal. It's
That
brutal.
move just looks so brutal. Um, so afterwards, the Dark Order comes out, and Evil Uno says, "We're not trying to jump you." Blah blah blah. And they sort of offer him a kind of an olive branch, like they sort of make it known that they're trying to recruit him. Um, One of the most interesting things about the match is Tony Schiavone says at one point during the match, or uh, Tony Schiavone says, "Looks like Adam is having a good time," and Jim Ross says, "Yeah, first time he came out here without a beverage." So
Interesting.
that's something that we're gonna have to watch for the next few weeks because
Interesting.
it could be a sort of refocusing of Adam Page,
Right. Right. I
which
could
I
see
think is very
this.
interesting.
Yeah. It'll. I'm definitely ready to see some layers added to his character because this story just Page's story that they've been telling for the last year or so has been really like almost like you can see this in a movie. Like it's like it captures you, and
Yeah,
I'm ready to see what he does next.
and then I just love that that Excalibur at the end of it says a very compelling offer from the Dark Order to the Lonesome Dove, and 85% of the people watching this have no idea what Lonesome Dove is.
No, no,
Um,
sir. I went over
for
my
those
head.
watching this whose head it went over, Lonesome Dove was a Western series that was on CBS in the 90s, I believe, and it was based on Western novels by Michener, I believe. So that's what Lonesome Dove is. So Lonesome Dove basically refers to cowboys. So when they make a Lonesome Dove reference, they're talking about cowboys and westerns and that sort of genre
Right.
of stuff. So Alex Marvez interviews Kenny Omega backstage next, and Kenny Omega cuts a really great interview, talking about how he's been kind of forgotten in the title picture, and now that he's back in the title hunt, it's the return of the cleaner and the best bout machine and the best in the world. And then he says, the common thread that binds us is what you have and what I don't, which is the AEW championship. Um, so then he goes on to say, and this is like the best line of the entire interview. He says, "So John, I wouldn't consider it a stipulation. It's just a gentleman's challenge. Just for one night only, please leave the garbage wrestling at home.
And I
No,
mean,
no tables, no chairs, no thumbtacks. You want to be the best, beat me in the middle of the ring, but do it with your ability." So some fairly cutting words from Kenny Omega. By the way, Jon Moxley answers this later in the show with the best promo Jon Moxley has ever cut.
absolutely,
Um,
absolutely.
but we'll talk
It,
about that in a minute.
this and I'm equally excited to see what happens with Kenny as I am with Paige, because it's like ever since, we all know their history, tag team champions, the elite, everything like that. So it's like now that they've sort of, went their separate ways, it's like one's going one path and the other, he's returned to himself. Like we have to see the development with Hangman to see if he, becomes who he used to be, or he becomes, that next level performer that he needs to become.
Yeah.
And with Omega, the cleaner is back, and I'm excited. I'm ready. I got my money on him.
You know what I love about this match is no matter who wins this match, I don't think anybody will be disappointed.
Absolutely, I agree.
Like I think it's going to be a great match, and whoever wins is going to deserve it.
Absolutely.
So then we come to Powerhouse Hobbs with Taz against Lee Johnson. And am I the only one that thinks that the whole Lee Hobbs Taz thing is a direct result of Bobby Lashley and MVP and the Hurt Business?
You know what? Now that you say it, I see what you mean. I mean, that never crossed
it
my
seems
mind
like
before.
it seems like it happened very similarly. Like MVP going up to Bobby Lashley and saying, "Hey, I can help you. Hey, I can help you."
Right.
And
Right.
Taz kept openly saying, "Hey, we're waiting for Will Hobbs to make a decision. We made him an offer.
Right. And
Like it
he
just
was like,
seems like they're running on very parallel trajectories.
yeah, I could see the similarities.
Because you notice Will Hobbs' whole facial expression changed this week since joining Team Taz. Like,
right.
he's got that sort of cocky swagger, and he's got that stupid smirk on his face.
He could have fooled me because for the past few weeks he's been helping out. He's helped out Moxley himself. He's helped out Darby Allin. Then he started helping Cody. So it was like kind of I don't want to say it was like the biggest swerve, because it really,
Yeah.
it was what it was.
I think
I definitely didn't really see it coming, because it was like, oh, I thought they were gonna build him against Team Taz. But I think I think it's pretty cool. But I definitely see the similarities. Like, Taz has left the offer open for weeks. So it's like, even Cedric, when they brought Cedric along, it was like, you know what, they're winning right now, so might as well join them, But
so
it was what it was.
the funny part of this is that this is Will Hobbs' debut as a member of Team Taz. He's not called Will Hobbs anymore. He's called Powerhouse Hobbs.
What are your thoughts on that? I'm not too crazy about it either.
Like he needs the nickname for people to figure it out.
Right, and they were what's the term? Driving it home with it the whole show.
Yes.
Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks versus, But I mean, it's cool. Maybe they could. Maybe it'll help them out. Who knows?
No.
We'll see what happens. I definitely think Will Hobbs is, I guess, on his way. He's been doing pretty good. I'm interested to see how he grows as a young he's up and coming. He's about to
I don't
do
know if
some
Will
damage.
Hobbs needs any real help, but that's neither here nor there. So the match is a squash. Like Will Hobbs just destroys the guy.
Kills him.
Just destroys him. So the match is actually the most minor part of this segment. Because after the match, Taz comes down to the ring and decides that Taz is done being a passive observer, apparently. Taz has decided that he wants to have another angle. So here we go. So takes the FTW championship and talks about how AEW does not recognize the FTW championship, which is no surprise to anyone because it's not an AEW title.
It was barely an ECW title. It's never really been.
It's a hey, my friend's a
recognized.
belt maker. He made me a belt title.
Yes, I mean, I've always liked the belt. I've always liked the idea of having that title, but it's like it's really never throughout history been even recognized and defended and held to prestige. You know what I mean? Like it's never really done much.
Well,
But
especially when you consider what it stands for.
right, exactly. It's not a real belt, but I always thought it was cool. That was the cool belt. Like when I was a kid, I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna be the FTW champion." But it was like, I don't know.
It was like the
I just thought it
smoking.
was
It was
dope.
like the smoking skull belt in WWE.
Right.
You
That's
know, it was
that's
like,
Austin's belt.
yeah.
Like that's
Um.
Taz's belt. Yeah.
So Taz comes out uh and decides to cut the corporate promo.
The authority. Yeah.
You know, AEW has tried so hard to stay away from this for such a long time, to not do this whole authority figure stuff. But now they're going to drag Tony Khan into it. Most people have no idea who Keith Mitchell even is.
Right.
And he's dropping
Yeah.
his
No one
name
really
in the
does.
air.
I was surprised that he did that though. As soon as he said Keith Mitchell, Tony Khan, I'm like, I mean, they've said Tony Khan once in a while, but like the producer of the show.
I love the fact that Justin Roberts didn't want to give him his mic. It's like, no, wait, no, don't involve me. Like I don't want any part of this. I like my job, thank you. I'm just gonna sit here at my table and
I just hope. Well, I don't really think this will happen, but with them, anything can happen. I don't really see them.
Tony Khan
Or
does
even
not
Tony
want to
Khan.
become an on-air personality.
Right,
Does
exactly. I
not.
don't expect to see him on TV, but the day that he does, there's
If
going to
you
be a day where he does.
if you did not see Tony Khan on the air during the 1-year anniversary special of Dynamite, you will not see Tony Khan on the air.
Right.
Because he could have had a big freaking party in the middle of the ring. And
I did think it was cool when the Young Bucks were on their tear on the build up to their match with FTR.
Yeah.
There was a point where they were, they passed by FTR and Gorilla. They super kicked someone. I don't remember who it was. And then Tony Khan's just sitting there. I was like, yo, that's the boss.
Yeah.
Like he's made it a point.
Well, so the other thing with Tony Khan is that Tony Khan is a known owner of another sports franchise. So if Tony Khan were to become an on-air character in AEW, those actions would reflect upon that sports franchise as well. So because of that, and because he has, quote unquote, legitimate business interests, I don't think you'll ever see him as a Mr. McMahon or something.
Right. Yeah. I'd rather him not anyways, because it's different. It's not.
But of course, they also they made a conscious decision when this company was started to tell people that Cody Rhodes was an executive of the company. And so it's Cody Rhodes that comes out from the back with his headset still on, from Gorilla. And it must have been really cold backstage because he's wearing his full-length black coat.
Right? They're in Jacksonville. Like, shouldn't it be a little...
It should be a little warmer, I would think.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly.
Air conditioning in the back is malfunctioning or something.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
But I loved how condescending Cody was to Taz, and I loved how red Taz is turning as Cody is talking down to him. Like, Cody's talking to him like a child. He's like, "Okay, I'm out here. It's next week. It's Ricky Starks in your new cohort against myself and Darby, and we'll leave it all in the ring. Is that good enough? Are you happy with that?" And then Cody goes, "No, my championship's still not being taken legitimately." And Cody goes, "I hear what you're saying. I'm digesting it all. I see the FTW championship. I'll run it up the flagpole." And I thought Taz was going to say to him, "You know what? I'll take the flagpole and shove it up here."
Yo, Cody could be a smart ass, yo.
He's fantastic. It was so good.
But Taz was getting so upset. I thought he was gonna knock Cody out. I was like, "Go ahead, turn around and punch him."
Now, of course, the go too far moment is when Cody says to Taz, "Hey, why is your son training with me and not with you?" So that's the go too far moment for Taz, which is amazing to me because it means that none of the other stuff that Cody said before that is too far.
Right. Do you think? I want to know your thoughts on that, because
do I think his son's going to get involved? Of course I do.
No. Do you think it was a necessary line to say? Like, I understand.
Well, first of all, I don't think for a minute that that they would have said it if Taz wasn't behind it.
Right, of course. Yeah.
And yes, I do. I think they needed that one last push to set Taz completely off. Because don't forget, don't forget, Taz has now assaulted a member of the executive staff of the company. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see where it goes from here. But I can't imagine that Taz is just going to get away with it.
Right. But who knows? Maybe this will be, this is leading towards something where, because to be honest, right, the only reason I said that, right, the only reason I asked you is because now, Cody's made it a point, there's always talk of him, dipping his toes into heel water, people always, are speculating where maybe people thought he was going to turn on Darby at the pay-per-view, but it's like, he's made it a point to tell people, about that, and as well as, I'm here for the people. So it's like,
Taz is never going to be a face.
Exactly. So why? Why have Cody? Go ahead.
I think Cody's gonna straddle this sort of anti-hero line occasionally. Don't get me wrong. I still think Cody's going to be the good guy. I don't think Cody's ever going to go full heel, but I think Cody's going to have those moments where he sort of edges over the line just a little bit.
Right.
Like, not so much as people think he's a bad guy, but like
Like
enough that he's
he'll do some heel.
edgy.
Right. He'll do
Like,
some heel shit just
yeah, like
to.
I don't think he's gonna be a cookie cutter face.
Right. I see what you mean. Yeah, because then you can play with him a little more and put him against different
You know,
people
like
too.
he's not gonna be the Boy Scout cereal box baby face.
Right. Right.
I think he's gonna play it a little like Austin used to play it, where he's mostly face, but he can still do some dirty, some dirty stuff if he needs to.
Right. So we'll have
And
to
I think
see what
he's going to do a
happens.
lot of that edgy stuff just because of how much fun it is to push Taz's buttons.
Yeah, because Taz was like, you could see the steam coming out
Oh
his
yeah,
ears.
oh yeah.
Little angry man. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'm really interested to see what happens. When winter is coming, is coming.
So next we have Top Flight, Airwolf, Darius Martin, and Angel Dorado.
They're good.
Dante
They're
Martin
good.
versus the Hybrid 2, Jack Evans and Angelico.
I like them too, but they're not like.
So first of all, Top Flight has now officially signed with AEW, so they are part of the organization now.
They deserve that. They're pretty good. I
They're
like them.
fantastic. What an amazing match. Oh, what a great match. And then TH2 wins the match, and of course, being the good heels that they are, they got to continue to beat the crap out of Top Flight till the Young Bucks come down.
That was the welcoming party. Welcome to welcome to All Elite.
So obviously, like, so I guess the big question is, one is, are they really trying to build TH2 as legitimate contenders to the Young Bucks?
I wish they would have started to at least, they and Helico
I mean, there
and
has to
Jack
be
Evans.
a match, but I mean, on paper, it looks like a terrible mismatch. Like on paper, it looks like the Young Bucks are just going to destroy them.
Right, like just extra fodder.
I mean, I would hate for them to have a squash match because that doesn't do anything for TH2.
Right, exactly. Especially since it's been a while since we've seen them on TV. Like they show up on Dark.
Yeah.
They had some time off, but it's like hopefully this is the start of a good building of this team because they're really good. I've always been a fan of Jack Evans, especially, but it's like they haven't really done much in the company. So you're right, in the sense that if they're trying to push them out of nowhere as like as a threat to the Young Bucks, oof,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they need a couple credible wins. I mean, they got some win on Darks, but as far as because people that watch the show on Dynamite, not a lot of them watch Dark.
Yeah.
So it's like if not a lot of people are watching Dynamite, imagine how many people are actually watching Dark. Sometimes I don't watch Dark, but I try to keep up with it because I like to see
right,
who their young guys are coming. That's going to come up. That's essentially like their version of their NXT.
Yeah. Yep.
I really love the concept of AEW Dark. And then the guys that are getting put over on the show, the guys that are actually getting some wins under their belt. There's a lot of people that Dynamite could definitely benefit from.
I wish TNT would put Dark on the air.
Oh my god! Like, well, they've always flirted with the idea of a third hour on TNT. So maybe
no, they're not gonna. So Cody has already said they're not gonna do a third hour of Dynamite.
True. Right.
They said that there is going to be a second show. They just don't know what it's going to be yet.
No. Well,
TNT has renewed Dynamite through 2025, and they've given the green light for a second show.
Nice.
So next segment is probably the most useless segment in the show. It's the tiny Vicky Guerrero promo backstage where she accuses Brandy of nepotism, which I think is hilarious because Vicky knows that Brandy has been the chief brand officer since AEW started. And so, basically she says, her business plan is set up for failure. And if you need any advice, call me. No, don't get me wrong. I love hearing Vicky Guerrero cut heel promos again, but this one was pretty useless.
It's like, are they doing this to build a future match with Brandy, or is like
it has to be?
But like Brandy,
it's like
I love Brandy though. I love Brandy though. She's amazing.
It's just weird because it's almost like they were like, hey, we have an extra 5 minutes on the show. Vicky, do you want to do something backstage?
That's a good point.
We don't know what it's for or if it's going to go anywhere, but we have this extra 5 minutes, so you might as well give it to you.
Listen, if we sat here and talked about the women's division on AEW, we'd be here all night because it's like,
And we're not going to do that.
Yeah, but we're not going to do that right now. that's a whole nother show.
Maybe later.
Yeah.
that's a good debate for the four of us, I think.
Yes, that would be cool.
But
I would love to compare. I would really like to do a show where we compare all the divisions, all the women's divisions in every company, because obviously we see WWE's women's division versus, the NXT women's division or the Impact Wrestling women's division. Like, but yeah, we can we can save that for another debate.
So next match is SCU versus Jake Hager and Chris Jericho. This was a great match. Kazarian and Daniels put on a fantastic match in the end. But in the end, just like everybody predicted from the get-go, MJF gets involved and helps Jericho secure the win. Now, a lot of the scuttlebutt that I've read online says that MJF is going to continue to get involved and Jericho is going to continue to profit, and that MJF is sort of slowly building a case for him to take over leadership of the Inner Circle.
Maybe
is what I've read online.
That's a
I don't know why he joins the Inner Circle otherwise.
Right.
But
and I also see Jericho coming out as the face for that. That would be.
And I have to say, I love how Jericho for the longest time was like, no, we don't want you in the Inner Circle. We don't need you in the Inner Circle. And now that he's in the Inner Circle, Jericho is like his biggest cheerleader, and he's like going to bat to avenge wrongs against MJF. So like, Frankie Kazarian decks MJF, and then in the back, Jericho is so hot about it that Jericho's like, I challenge you to a match next week. I'm going to avenge the honor of MJF. And I'm like, oh my God.
What kind of man sucker punches another man?
Oh my God. You, Chris, you.
I popped when he said that.
If you still have the WWE Network, Chris, go back and watch all your matches, because you do it, Chris. You do it all the time.
You know what's funny? When about the sucker punch, when Kazarian, he's checking on Daniels after the match, and he stands up, and MJF's just sitting there talking shit to both of them, and he just
decks him. Yeah, he just decks him.
He cracks him, and he just drops
right under the jaw.
Yo, I was like, okay. You shut him up real quick.
So then the segment that wins at least my award for most entertaining backstage segment of the night is next. Kip Sapien and Miro are debuting or about to debut their new video game channel.
Yeah.
And Orange Cassidy just walks in and shuts off their projector.
He just comes in and he's just
Boop.
oh,
It's like,
man.
if your sister walks into your room and resets your game system as you're playing the last
Of
level.
course, I'd be tight. Yeah, I'd be fucking tight. Oh, that's my one.
So they get.
I get 5, by the way.
So they get. Well, I don't know. We're only doing an hour tonight.
Okay, so I get 3.
Oh, yeah.
No, well, we'll give it 2.
We'll go for 2. So now you have 1 left. But yeah.
Nah, that don't count. That don't count.
Oh, that one counts. They all count. Yeah, that one. So yeah, they go outside, and of course, best friends jump them, and that's the segment. But I love how entertaining Orange Cassidy can be without saying a word. So then we have the contract signing part 2.
Per day.
Which is amazing because, and I love the fact that they had Kenny Omega come out for it again, even though Kenny Omega actually signed the contract last week.
Exactly. Like what? I mean, I didn't. But I love what
I think
doing
that
because
I think that every time Kenny Omega's booked for a show, Justin Roberts has to do the intro. I think it's contractual now.
and I feel like he gives him a new piece of paper every time. You're gonna say,
oh yeah,
these accolades is what you're gonna say. Have you heard him say G1 Climax winner?
No.
I'm waiting for him to say it, but I don't think they will.
But
the first I think he was the first non-Japanese wrestler to win it. I don't know.
So unfortunately, the cleaner gets his clock cleaned.
Well, before he does,
I love the fact that he's still standing there in the tunnel, and they haven't pulled the sheet away yet when Moxley comes up behind him.
And you just see the shadowy figure, he's just kicking his ass. Oh my goodness. But before that, right? Eddie Kingston was cutting a promo on Pac or whatever, and the match that they're gonna have later on. And Moxley just comes up to him face to face. He's like, yo, he didn't say anything actually. He didn't say a word. He was just looking at him as if, like, are you the one that attacked me?
Oh yeah, no. And Eddie Kingston goes, and Kingston it's not like, me. You know who it is.
But just the way he said it to him, he was like, yo, you already know. If it was me, I would have told you.
Yeah.
But it's like he's got his own stuff to worry about, so he knows it's not him. So he was like, you know what? All right, that's all I needed to know.
Oh boy, does he ever have his own stuff to worry about? But there's more on. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yes.
So Moxley comes out for the contract signing after beating the crap out of Omega, spiking him on the world title with the paradigm shift, and then Jon Moxley proceeds to cut what is his best promo in AEW to date. So literally, like they pretty much posted the entire promo on here because it was so good. So it says, "Gentleman's agreement, right? I don't know who you hired to take me out last week, but they did a pretty piss poor job. Next time you want to put a hit on somebody, give me a call. I'll hook you up with some guys from Philadelphia."
I popped when he said
they
that.
do great work. It says, I thought our beef was squashed 1 year ago, and then you had to go and piss me off, but don't worry, consider us even. The only way you become AEW World Champion is you dig down deep into your guts and you find the Kenny Omega that everyone thinks you are. You're going to have to climb a mountain that nobody's been able to climb in 18 months. You got to beat me. On December 2nd, here on TNT, the biggest match in AEW Dynamite history, the two best wrestlers on the planet tangle for the World's Championship. Win, lose, or draw, winter is coming for you, Kenny. You come at the king. You best not miss, because I don't take prisoners. Steady your hand, aim, and take your shot, Kenny, because you're only going to get one.
Fantastic.
I love that he kept his cadence and his the way he delivered the promo, very even. Like he didn't go off the rails too much. Like it was a very sort of simmering, slow burn promo. But it was fantastic. Like it was unbelievable. I had chills at the end of the promo. It was amazing.
I don't think Omega did it though.
Of course he did.
No. See, hear me out, right? He makes it, I feel like it would be too obvious if it was him because, you know, who else would it be, right? But it's like they could be. I'm just going strictly off of
Well, I
what
don't know who
could
Kenny
be.
Omega hired. I mean, Kenny Omega wouldn't do it himself.
Right. Either that or maybe he has somebody coming in, or maybe it's gonna be somebody like.
Like I'll be very interested to see if we ever find out who it actually was.
Right, because Moxie doesn't necessarily have proof. It hasn't been said on TV that yes, Kenny Omega is the one that attacked. It's still sort of an ongoing mystery, I guess. I feel like Moxley assumed that just because Eddie Kingston didn't do it, then that means obviously the person I'm defending against did it. But at the same time, the way Kenny's taking it is like from the original contract signing. He's like, you know, of course he gets laid out in the back. He's like,
Yeah,
last time it was this, last time it was a staph infection, last time it was this. Now this time you're getting knocked out. So I don't care. I'm still signing this. You can come fight me if you want. We can have a one-on-one match. No weapons, you know, he's ready to go.
I have a feeling that that it's either like you're either going to find out who Kenny Omega hired, or they're just going to forget about it and you're never going to hear about it again.
That could happen, but at the same time, that's some WWE shit right there. They're not really. They're not. I feel like they wouldn't do something like that just because.
So like in the end, it may or may not be necessary to connect those dots. So I think a lot of it will depend on what happens on Wednesday.
Right. I feel like it's a little early to tell.
So next, speaking of the women's division, it's Anna Jay.
No.
It's Anna Jay and Shida. I will say Anna Jay made a much better accounting of herself this time.
I stopped taking notes at this point.
Ty Conti came to the ring with Anna Jay. So important to note, Ty Conti is not in the Dark Order. She has not accepted the offer to join. She is just Anna Jay's friend, and so she comes to the ring with her. So Ty Conti, at one point, Anna wants Ty Conti to hand her a chair, and Ty Conti is trying to play motivational speaker, telling Anna Jay she doesn't need the chair to win. So fortunately, John Silver is out there too, and he'll hand anybody a weapon at any time. So he hands her a kendo stick, and she plays Little League World Series with Shida's knee, which turns out to apparently not be a factor because that same knee bashes Anna Jay in the face at the end of the match for the win.
Right, she like completely no-sold it.
I mean, I will say it was a really good match.
Absolutely.
I
really hope that this
there were
wasn't just a one and done.
There were some times where I thought the writers might have been out of their mind and Anna Jay might actually be winning it.
I was fearing that because, I mean, that would have been cool though, but I hope
it would have been terrible.
I know.
Awful.
I only say that because I'm actually a fan of Anna Jay. Like she started off, like she came in, she wasn't really, you know, like a big star, and she joins Dark Order, and I feel like she's been doing a lot of good work, especially online. But with her, damn, I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
It's okay. We'll get there again eventually. So then it's time for the main event. So we have the Butcher and the Blade, accompanied by the Bunny and Eddie Kingston, versus Rey Fenix and the Bastard Pack with Penta El Zero Miedo of Death Triangle. Yeah. I gotta tell you.
I can't remember any of the spots off the top of my head.
I gotta tell you,
forgot to take notes.
anyone who thought Pac might have lost a step for being out so long was really shut up immediately between these last 2 weeks.
Pac is back for sure.
Yes.
For sure.
Shooting star presses and power bombs and the hot shots. They referenced Eddie Gilbert, which I thought was amazing.
I don't know who that is. Educate me, Rob.
Eddie Gilbert was a WCW star in the sort of glory days of the Four Horsemen and Dusty Rhodes and all that in WCW.
Nice.
You can look him up on the network.
Sure will.
He was called, his ring nickname was Hot Stuff. So it was Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert.
Oh, I've heard his name before. Yes. Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. Yes, I've heard of him. I've never seen his work though, but I have heard like certain wrestlers from that era use that. You say that name.
So Eddie Kingston sprints to the ring after the match is over. So Eddie Kingston comes to the ring and gets involved in the finish, and then Butcher and Blade hit their double team move on Rey to finish the match. And then, of course, Eddie Kingston gets in the ring and just starts beating the crap out of everybody, but especially Pac. And this is going on for a little while, and they managed to take out Penta as well. And, the beatdown's going on. And then for some completely unforeseen reason, Lance Archer comes running to the ring and proceeds to beat the crap out of Eddie Kingston.
I didn't see that coming either.
I don't think Eddie Kingston saw that coming either.
I mean, I'm glad that they're continuing it though, because they went from that the battle the casino
it's on the anniversary
royal
show.
Yeah, so it's like I thought maybe they had dropped it, but it was so cool seeing them come. So it's like now they're more comfortable with, like we were talking about with WWE, how they don't normally know how to work a heel versus heel kind of story or like match or whatever. AEW, they don't care. They I feel like they've made it a point that it doesn't matter.
I love the fact that Lance Archer is going to become a face by default.
Right. That's an interesting dynamic right there, because he has Jake Roberts with him.
Well, that means Jake is going to be a face now too.
Yeah, but nobody wants to see a face, Jake. He talks like this. He has coming in.
Oh, God.
I tried it. I couldn't do it.
They're going to have to mic Jake every time he comes to the ring now.
Is this what you people want?
Yes, we can hear you now, Jake. Jake Roberts is the only person. Jake Roberts is the only person I know where everybody, whether they need it or not, turns on their closed captioning when he does an interview so they can see what the hell he's saying.
Do you think we can see sort of an expansion of Eddie Kingston's family, since now that the Lucha Brothers are no longer with them and they're back with Pac? Now they have this giant coming after him. Do you think maybe he's looking for reinforcement?
I don't know, because isn't one of
maybe not at the moment.
Isn't one of the Lucha Brothers injured?
I don't. What, after the match, or like
I thought one of them couldn't wrestle, which is why they didn't sign the 6-man.
I don't know. I don't think Penta was injured. Um, who knows? Maybe they were just doing it because there hasn't been a clear.
Because it would seem like it would make sense to me for them to sign Butcher, Blade, and Eddie Kingston versus Death Triangle. Now the Death Triangle is reunited. I thought that was going to be the match, and then when they announced that it was just Ray Phoenix and Pac, I was a little surprised.
Right. I mean, it could have been that because I mean, even if it is, even if let's say Penta was injured, you know, I would much rather it be the two of them, meaning Pac and Phoenix, face just the Butcher and they went against the Butcher and Blade, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like where else does it blow off? You know, maybe they're saving that 3-on-3 for like a bigger show, like maybe I don't know. It's not gonna happen this Wednesday, right? Or
No.
maybe I don't know, pay-per-view, or I don't know. I feel like they can really drag this story. We'll just see it could either blow off with a Kingston versus Pac. It could be the 3-on-3, or we'll see how Lance Archer fits into the puzzle. Like I don't know. That's why I'm wondering. Do you think, Eddie Kingston will have to, probably recruit somebody? That's why I asked that, because it's like now there's a lot of different moving pieces in this story, which I like. I love when they have intertwining, and they're all supposed to be heels, but Pac comes back and he's on some face shit, which is awesome. I like this
Yeah.
new Pac that we're seeing,
Yep.
but it's like, I mean, he was a heel, and Archer is a heel, and Butcher and Blade and Eddie Kingston is a heel. So it's like there's no clear, like they don't make it clear that Pac is the good guy, Lucha Bros are the good guys, and it's like
Well,
like the
I
family's
think they
divided now.
I think they made it perfectly clear by Eddie Kingston and the Butcher and the Blade's actions that they're the heels.
Well, of course, no, but that's what I'm saying. They're already the heels,
Yeah.
But in terms of Pac's return and
Well, so I think
the
again
whole split up,
I think again you have to go into that sort of anti-hero realm.
right, right.
Like he's
So it's
not
not
quite
like
a face, but he's not quite a heel. He's sort of,
right
that middle ground.
that tweener, but not a
Yeah.
tweener. Yeah, I get you.
So that's Dynamite. This week is probably going to be one of the biggest episodes of Dynamite ever. Winter is coming. So it's the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal, which looks to have like 20 or 30 people in it. And the AEW Championship match, Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega.
Can't wait for that.
Which I think is pretty incredible. So let's move on to NXT. So NXT this week starts with Ember Moon versus Candice LeRae. Can I just say, so I fell off
That's
NXT for I fell off NXT for a while, and I'm starting to catch back up. I cannot believe how much of a so I knew that Johnny Gargano had gone back to sort of jerk persona, and he's really good at it. But what amazed me is how easily Candice LeRae sort of got sucked right into it too. Like she is a real piece of work.
And you know what? I feel like it works because Candice was that, she was that cookie cutter, there for my friends, baby.
It's kind of like Alexa before the Fiend versus Alexa after the Fiend.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good comparison, especially because, her and Johnny were never really, they were always kept separate on NXT.
Right.
So now that, he's brought her into seeing the Gargano way.
I have to say, he has grown amazingly as a character.
He's tremendous.
Like
He's
those,
tremendous, and he's
like those
hilarious too.
those promos before Halloween Havoc, where he had the little mock wheel in his kitchen, and he's spinning. And he's like, "Wheels hate me."
Yes, I love all of their
Oh, so good.
the promos that they cut in their house are some of the best like
Just
vignettes slash
incredible.
promos. Especially
So
when they do, when they're talking and they're talking together, and then all of a sudden the camera turns and it's like dark, and it's like spooky vibes. Like it's like it just went dark real quick. I was just like, whoa, I love those.
Candice LeRae is joined by the rest of her War Games team at ringside, which just causes Ember to be very outnumbered. So Ember loses due to interference. Tony Storm comes out, and everyone thinks that Tony Storm is going to be with Ember Moon. And then Tony Storm decks Ember Moon.
What are they? What? Why? What?
So Tony Storm is the fourth member of Team Candice. So it is Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez, and Tony Storm.
I have no idea why they would do that though. They had a Tony. Oh my God, I love Tony Storm. I'm a huge mark for Tony Storm. She's just amazing. She has that star it quality. Like I saw her, like becoming that next. I don't know. I don't want to compare her to anybody, but she was on some hot shit. She was about to be some. But now she's switched, and I'm just like,
Well,
no,
she's going to be in War Games, so depending on how she does there, her star could rise or fall. So we'll see.
right.
So
I think she'll still be successful in that role.
Next up, we have the always entertaining Kushida versus Timothy Thatcher. What I want to know is, what is Kushida going to do after this year when the anniversary year for Back to the Future is over?
What do you mean?
So Kushida's gimmick is all about Back to the Future, like the hoverboard and all that. This is the anniversary year for Back to the Future. So next year is not a significant anniversary for Back to the Future. So I wonder what he's going to do after it's all over.
Interesting. I mean, I could definitely see a character shift with him. That would be.
He's
already got
athletic.
different gear,
He's so athletic.
and it's an interesting matchup to put him with Timothy Thatcher, because it's like there's always like NXT. I'm gonna try to explain this the best way I can. NXT has this way of putting two guys that you wouldn't necessarily say, "Oh, this would be a," No, I'm explaining it wrong. Like you didn't know you needed this match until you saw it. You get what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's never been one of those. Yo, I would love it if, like, I would never say, I want to see Timothy Thatcher versus Kushida. But when you see it, it's like, bro, why? You know what I'm saying? Like they were like killing each other
Yeah.
with their strikes. Like they worked really stiff. The submission and the chain wrestling was just superb. Like they were going hold for
And the
hold,
part that
strike for strike.
really sucks about that is that for storyline purposes, they had to insert Tommaso Ciampa into it. So
Yeah, I was into.
unfortunately, it screws up the finish of this beautiful match.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I felt the same way. I felt like it was kind of like, did he really need to be there?
Yeah. So just
But the way I think about it is like, I like the fact that at least they're having Thatcher in a story.
yeah,
They have him in a feud, because he's done a lot of his own thing with his
right.
own Thatcher Can school, and that's cool. But now Ciampa's next, and Ciampa's been one of the most established stars on that brand. So it's like this could be it. This could be not. I don't want to say a stepping stone,
Right.
but like this could be his first official feud, and it's either going to make him or it's going to break him.
So just to so just for the sake of completion, the match ends with Kushida able to force Thatcher to tap out to the hoverboard lock because Ciampa distracted Thatcher long enough for Kushida to regain the advantage. So next up, backstage, Cameron Grimes is in a match. He defeats Jake Atlas, and then backstage, so Dexter Lumis emerges behind Grimes. So this whole storyline where Grimes and Lumis, Grimes is still scared of Lumis, is still going on. And then William Regal tells Cameron Grimes that he will be battling Lumis in a strap match. So not only is he going to have to get in the ring with him, he's going to have to get in the ring with him and be tied to him.
And it's funny because first of all, Cameron Grimes is hilarious, and he's basically like, you know, you don't need to really make this a strap match. And he's like, it's absolutely going to be a strap match, and it's going to be at Takeover. Oh man.
That's right, sunshine.
Oh my god, he's not happy.
That's all I remember. That's all I ever remember from William Regal in any of his general manager positions. He always called the wrestler Sunshine.
That's hilarious.
So then we have the main event, which is an incredible ladder match.
I told you, Rob.
It's an incredible ladder match. It's Pete Dunne versus Kyle O'Reilly, and
Pete Dunne is shredded.
And again, he's lost so much weight.
Absolutely, he doesn't look nearly as thick as he used to. He was like a Finley build, kind of in a way, but now he's like just his you see the cuts in his arm. Oh, tough.
His face looks a little thin though.
Yeah, smoking on that crack. New stuff.
So again, like, this is an incredible match, and they feel the need to muddy the finish. Like, I don't understand. Like, a masked man has to come in and help Pete Dunne score the victory. I don't like. And then you don't even find out who the masked guy is. I
was waiting for the end of the show to be, it's Pat McAfee.
Yeah, obviously. Like, I knew that. Like you.
But before the match,
where it's going.
Right, but they didn't do that.
No.
Instead, it was just Pete Dunne and the other two.
Instead, they insulted the entire audience by not doing that.
Right, and they even played a promo. Not a promo. It was a clip of Pat's show, the Pat McAfee show, where he specifically says, "I will not be at NXT tonight." But it's like, oh yeah, it's like, when you tell someone to leave the building, they're leaving the building. I'm not coming tonight. Come on, bro. That was the same mask that he had on the last time he ran in.
Like, Braun left the building.
Jey Uso, take your ass home. He comes and helps Reigns win the match.
Okay, so let's move to SmackDown now, since you started talking about Jey Uso.
Oh yeah.
I'd like to say that all the ambiguity was dealt with on SmackDown. Jey Uso now knows exactly how Roman Reigns feels about him. He knows how Kevin Owens feels about him, and he knows how a steel chair feels about him. I think the steel chair is probably wondering what it did to Kevin Owens to piss him off so much. And might be rethinking its life decisions. Also, Roman Reigns knows exactly how Kevin Owens feels about him.
Everybody just knows how everybody feels now.
None of these feelings were a surprise, but it's nice to get them out in the open.
At least
So,
they're communicating.
so SmackDown opens with Jey Uso coming out feeling on top of the world. And Roman Reigns comes out and tells him that despite the fact that I said I was proud of you at the end of SummerSlam and I accepted you, and I gave you a hug and everything, I really didn't appreciate what you did.
Didn't I tell your bitch ass to go home? That's what I was saying last week. Didn't I tell you to go?
Like, all I kept thinking about was, Jey Uso is a puppy. Didn't I tell you to sit?
Excuse me.
When I say sit, I mean sit. Like, when I say it's time to go for a walk, we go for a walk.
Yeah, but that set him overboard though. Because after that, well, go ahead, go
Well,
on.
I mean,
Though.
I'm sure at this point, Jey Uso is like, what do I do?
Right? It's like, how do I fix this? And of course, what happens next is
Like, I love the fact that Roman gives him the very, very general direction of fix that. Like, he doesn't tell him how, or
figure it out.
It's like, figure it out, but don't do the wrong thing, or I'm going to scold you again next week.
And I think he did pretty good, except when we get there later. But then Otis comes out for a match with Corbin, and before he could even get to the ring, Jey Uso's right back with a steel chair, and he brutalizes him.
Oh yeah, wallops him with a steel chair. So that match with Corbin never happens. Corbin's like, well, all right, I guess I'll go back to catering.
I'm glad that match didn't happen.
So then we have Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode against the Street Profits. So I'm sort of torn about this match. It was a good match. I mean, they're very athletic, but right. The Street Profits just beat the New Day at Survivor Series. So yeah, how does this help them?
This was definitely a head scratcher for sure. I mean, I see why they would do it in terms of,
like, what's the point of showing that they're the best of the best tag team if they're just gonna lose to the people that the New Day beat?
Right, exactly. And it's like, the way I think about it, it's like, if you're doing it to put them in a feud with Dolph and Roode, then I get it, because there's really nobody else for them to feud with, to be honest. Then I
but
get
they shouldn't
it, but
be
it's
starting
like,
that
why?
feud. They shouldn't be starting that feud from a position of weakness. I mean, they just beat the New Day.
Right, exactly. I feel like it would have benefited them if they had at least, beat them once, and maybe a post-match attack would have been. But I mean, they didn't really have to take that L, but it was what it was. What are we gonna do? They do what they want anyways.
It fell flat for me.
Yeah, but it was a good match, like you said. It wasn't great, but I was entertained by it. It was some good stuff. Good stuff. Love some good wrestling.
All right, so the next segment is the most frustrating segment on the entire freaking show for me.
I don't remember what it was. Tell me.
With Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan. This match ends by countout.
Brilliantly, though. I loved it.
For someone who talks about wanting to bring prestige back to the Intercontinental Championship, this doesn't do it.
Yeah, true. it doesn't do that, but it
I'm fine with
gives more
non-title
of a.
matches ending by count out, but when it's a freaking title match, wrestle to a finish.
Was it? I don't think it was for the
Yes, it
title.
was.
Was it?
Yep.
Really?
Really.
Oh, I didn't. I guess I didn't catch that. I
That
didn't
was
think that was
Daniel
on there.
Bryan's. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, because Sammy cut a 50-minute promo about like how unfair it was that he had to defend the title and how Daniel Bryan didn't deserve a title opportunity. And
Wow. I mean, they could have saved that, but whatever.
like literally, Sammy talked about conspiracies against him for like 25 minutes.
Yeah, everybody's against them. They
Oh
don't.
my god.
Yeah. If no one, I like that because you know me, I love Sammy. I think he's brilliant. His promos and his when he just talks shit and annoys people, I like that shit because I'm the same way. I annoy people, but I also like when there's always that someone that interrupts him. You know what I mean? So it's like
And I
if
hate,
we let him, he'd be going on
and
all
the
day,
other
all day,
thing
all
is
day.
I hate when they have those segments that spill to that room in the back, because that's the gorilla position right before they come out the curtain.
Mm-hmm.
And there's people there who are not supposed to get involved in the segment. So they're just sitting there watching Jey Uso beat the crap out of Daniel Bryan. It's like, oh, come on.
Yeah, it's hokey.
I mean, it's insulting. Like, it's insulting to my intelligence to think that,
Right.
those
It's like
people are
you're telling us it's a TV show
like,
by having these people.
especially if people sitting back there are like friends of Daniel Bryan, like they're not going to get up and pull Jey Uso off. Like, come on.
I did like Owens, uh, coming to the rescue, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, Owens was fantastic throughout the night, but
Oh,
we'll get
yes.
to
Yes,
that
yes,
later.
yes. So next up, Bianca Belair wipes the floor with Natalya.
Poor Natalya.
I know. I feel kind of bad. I
feel
felt better.
strongly about it, but I'm not gonna.
I felt better when Bailey took the 2 bumps. I'm not gonna lie.
No, yeah, it definitely at least makes me feel better too. That at least Bianca, like we said about whoever we were talking about it with, with Thatcher. This is a good first feud for Bianca.
Yeah, I
Bailey's perfect. I love the idea of her and Bailey, so I'm all
really
for it. I'm all
enjoyed
here for it.
I really enjoyed the fact that Natalya hit the ropes and knocked Bailey off the ropes.
Right.
I thought that was great. And someone can tell Bailey that Survivor Series is over and she doesn't have to wear the captain armband anymore.
Bailey's hilarious though. She was just telling people, "Look, I'm the captain. I have pyro. I'm this. I'm great. I'm over." I was crying. She's funny.
Then you had Murphy versus King Corbin, because King Corbin still apparently wanted to fight.
He was talking shit backstage.
So
he didn't. He had a valid point though. I'm not gonna lie.
So now apparently the new thing is that the Mysterio family has fully embraced Murphy, and they're going to get involved in every match that Murphy has from now on.
I don't know why. Why are they doing this, Rob? Tell me.
Well, I like it better than Murphy gets destroyed by Ray and Dominic every week.
That's true. I'd rather not see them feud against each other. But it's like, why have? Because Corbin came backstage while they were having a backstage interview, and he's just talking shit like, "Why are you gonna let him back in after everything he did to you, bro?" Like,
Yeah,
you know. But it's like now when he's in the match with Murphy, it's like the Mysterios are going out of their way to get involved in this match.
Oh yeah,
like on some heel shit, and I'm like, what's going on here? I don't. Maybe Murphy has an influence over them now.
Well, because they closed the door with the Seth Rollins thing, they have to find something to do with Murphy now.
Right. And the Mysterios.
So
I just wish they would just move on with all this Mysterio family stuff.
next week, Corbin has demanded a rematch, and he said he will, quote, be prepared. And so then it is so we're at the last match finally. So it is Kevin Owens versus Jey Uso. And
that was a brawl.
Kevin Owens cut an amazing promo on Roman. You know, where he said, you know, you treat your family like trash, and he's sick of SmackDown's his family issues affecting all of SmackDown, and I was like, holy shit.
He grew some balls. He got
yes,
daddy's face. That's what he did. He got in daddy's face.
And Roman Reigns just looks at Jey and goes, "Fix this."
Handle that, bro.
And what happened instead was Jey got fixed.
Oh, that was tough. I thought he was gonna do some damage to Owens, but as soon as after the match, he got a hold of the chair, it was over.
So the match ends by DQ, because Jey Uso can't apparently stop using a chair.
Crazy.
And Kevin Owens stuns him, and then takes him outside, grabs a steel chair, and I don't know if that particular steel chair just really pissed Owens off, but like I've often wondered if a steel chair regrets their life decision. And
I could have been a table.
I think at this point, like I think after the 6th chair shot, the steel chair was like, why did I decide to become a steel chair?
I could have been anything else.
I could have been anything. I could have been a girder somewhere. I could have been
I could have been a pretty flower.
You know, I could have been a roll of aluminum foil, but a steel chair, like, probably not my best life choice.
But no, I'm getting bashed over men's sweaty backs.
And I think the most amazing part of that is like the trash talking that Kevin Owens is doing the whole time. Like he's looking directly into the camera, and it's like a big close up of his face, and he's like
absolutely brilliant because he's
hitting with
directing.
The chair. Yeah, he's like hitting with the chair, and he's like, "Come find me, Roman. Come find me."
He's like, "You want me to fear you?
Yeah.
I fear no one."
Yeah.
He's like, "Come get it." He's like, "I'm doing this to your family. You're not doing nothing about it."
It's
he's
incredible.
Basically calling him a bitch.
Yeah.
He's like, "You a bitch. I'm doing this to your mans." I'm gonna talk how people listening will understand me. I'm doing this to your mans, and you ain't gonna do nothing about it. No.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty incredible.
And Reigns just stood there.
Yeah.
Seething.
Oh yeah.
He's just there, like he's gonna have to handle it himself.
And the best part is Paul Heyman's just standing off to the side, going, "Oh shit, I better get out of
here." He don't want none of that.
Like if you look at Paul Heyman, it looks like he's slowly trying to back away.
He's shimmying a little bit. No, that whole segment is
he's counting
brilliant.
The steps to the parking garage.
Yeah, he's gonna take off like this.
That would have been the best part if we could have seen like Heyman running for cover.
Right? Oh my god! But I'm definitely excited to see what happens next. This story continues to just grab me. Right there, Rob. Right there. You know what I'm saying?
So it's like I think it's a great story. I think it's really well written. And I think that that Kevin Owens could have a really nice meaty angle with this.
Absolutely. I love seeing him back at the top of the card because he's kind of been floating around for last couple years.
Maybe he'll have Heyman on the KO show.
That could happen. You could ask him, "Why are you just staring at at Roman Reigns all the time. Do you like him?
Right?
Just say something witty or something.
Does,
I don't know.
does Roman scare you, Paul?
How many sugars does his coffee
Right.
take, Paul?
What airline does he fly, Paul? Does he fly first class or coach, Paul?
Oh my god! But I'm definitely like, this story has been like, SmackDown's been the best show in my opinion for the past, as long as since Reigns has been back. Like, Raw, SmackDown's been killing it, and I feel like Reigns' presence on the show, him being at the top of the card, in the best story of the whole company. I feel like it does a lot of good for the guys that are on the roster as well, because it's like, since we're tuning in for Reigns, it's like we're seeing this development between Sammy and Daniel Bryan,
So
and Big E coming into the fold, and we're seeing Bailey and Bianca Belair getting
yeah.
set for a feud. So it's like, I feel like it puts a light on the rest of the roster as well.
Oh, we actually forgot a segment.
I believe we did.
Talking
But
about
what
Bianca. Carmella was giving an interview, and
that part was awesome, bro. How did we forget that
Carmella
part?
and Carmella doesn't follow her own advice because she has her back turned to Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks just comes in and beats the crap out of her.
I love she's like, Drink, hello,
Yep.
hello. And then you see the boss rings, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, is he about to get beat up?
Yep. And that's exactly what happened.
Oh man, but
Right, so
it's a
that's
good switch up, at least, because I was hoping not to see another Carmella attack from behind on Sasha. So I'm glad they kind of
I
switched
have
it
to
up.
say I'm very excited to see so Monday night Raw has a chance to open up a bunch of new doors and new pathways. As long as AJ Styles does not win the triple threat match.
Elaborate on that, please.
So it's AJ versus Keith Lee versus Matt Riddle.
Right.
Whoever wins is Drew's next opponent. So if AJ does not win the match and one of the other two wins the match, then you've got whole new story areas to go and explore.
Right.
Like, especially if Matt Riddle wins the match.
Can you imagine Riddle versus McIntyre?
I want to imagine it.
Oh
I
my
really want to imagine it.
goodness. Oh my goodness, bro. I mean, I was also like, prior to this, I was always like, oh, what if Keith Lee versus McIntyre happened? But when it happened, it was kind of like, so I'm kind of hoping that the same doesn't happen with this.
I'm
In this
also
case.
I love the fact that they're going back to the Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt storyline, but I think I love the fact that Bray is a lot more cuckoo than he was back when like I love the spot on Monday night where the Fiend was in back of Orton on the ropes and Orton turned around and the Fiend just went boo.
Yeah, scared the hell. Yeah, and then that was when AJ got the win. He used that
you
as,
just
he
don't
took
see
advantage of
you
it.
just don't see Orton scared very often.
Right. He's not scared, intimidated, none of that. Like, he's always
Like I
like,
can't wait to see
he
what
knows who
happens
he
Monday
is.
night
Right. Right.
with Alexa because it's a trap. It's a blatant trap.
I love it. I love everything about it.
Yeah, I think
Everything
it's gonna be really
about.
good.
I feel like Wyatt and Bliss.
Yeah.
They're perfect together.
Yep.
Like, they work, and I feel like they're obviously they're part of the reason why Raw's been pretty. It's been catching up in the race lately. Obviously there haven't been the best Raws, pretty much the pandemic era. But like the last few weeks, it's been pretty good. Especially because of, you know, we just had Survivor Series. We
Yep.
had that, surprise Raw title change, which is rare. then and this whole angle between Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss, it's like it just gets better and better
Yeah.
every week. There's new seeds planted. There's new elements added. Like I loved her new gear,
Yeah.
the way she was dressed, the way Bray Wyatt when he's in Mister Rogers
Yep.
attire is like
Yep.
it works. Now I'm very interested to see a Fiend version of Alexa Bliss, in terms of her gear.
Yeah.
Imagine how cool that's gonna be. Well, what if she gets her own mask, bro? That would be
I
dope.
don't I don't
No,
know that they'll go
no,
down that
I
road.
take that back. Yeah, no, probably not. Because she already does that. The contacts
Yeah.
and the
Yep.
whatever the hell that shit was. That shit looked
Yeah.
like a fruit roll up.
Yeah.
But
All right.
yeah, they've been doing phenomenal work.
So that's your wrap up of the mid to end week wrestling action. So
Definitely
again, we're
good week in
looking
wrestling.
forward to Monday's Raw, and we are looking even further forward to Wednesday night's Winter is Coming Dynamite. I think that Kenny Omega versus John Moxley is going to be spectacular, and I think the rest of the show is just going to be filler till we get to that match.
Yeah. No, I mean, I
I think it's going to be really good filler, but
right.
I still think it's going to,
I think I expect the wrestling to be phenomenal at least, but I'm really excited for Winter is Coming.
I think the Battle Royal is going to be good, and I think Jericho versus Frankie Kazarian is going to be amazing.
Oh, absolutely.
I
I would have much rather had seen MJF and Kazarian, but
and I think Darby
MJF's gonna be in love.
I think Darby and Cody versus versus Brian Cage and versus Will Hobbs and Ricky Starks is going to be pretty incredible too.
Powerhouse Hobbs, remember?
Yeah, Powerhouse Hobbs.
I'm not a fan, but who knows? Maybe he'll make us into a fan.
Eventually, they'll just drop the Powerhouse and it'll just be Hobbs.
Most likely. Definitely a good week in wrestling. Absolutely.
I'm betting Shivani and JR won't be able to get over the Powerhouse thing, and they'll still call him Will Hobbs.
Yeah, because JR slips sometimes. I catch him sometimes, but who cares?
JR can't stand stupid nicknames. So
so I feel like sometimes he'll say things the right way without it actually being that. But whatever. I love JR. I feel like he's more comfortable in this position anyway.
Oh, I think I'm sure he is.
Yeah, he's having fun. I'm sure he's over there, throwing back a couple shots at the guys and just chilling at the commentator's booth.
No, I don't think they drink at the commentator's booth.
Oh, JR does. I'm sure he does.
I don't think they do. But that'll be another discussion. All right, so again,
JR be getting lit, bro.
There's a great week of wrestling ahead. So again, tune in to Monday Night Raw, Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the USA Network, and AEW Dynamite is Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. on TNT. And SmackDown is Friday nights on Fox at 8 p.m. And NXT is also Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock on USA. But you can catch a replay of that on the WWE Network if, like most people, you want to watch AEW live.
Which I'll be doing.
All right, so that's it. So we will be back here at some point after Monday's Raw to digest that. And we will see you then. For Martel, I'm Rob. And this has been Jobbers Uncensored. And we will see you when we see you.
Yes, sir.